Is Crash Bandicoot the N.Sane trilogy worth our time? We're about to find out. Welcome everyone to episode 190 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, a Bandicoot is a cousin of a koala?
It is indeed a marsupial, Chris. Is that not insane?
It is. Yes, it is insane. And we're going to talk about that and more as we talk about Crash Bandicoot, the N.Sane trilogy developed by Vicarious Visions, which oddly enough on the Xbox Game Pass store doesn't say that it's developed by them. It just says Activision Publishing. I thought that was kind of weird.
It might be because remember that these games were created originally by Naughty Dog, so
True.
It might get messy there. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, they always tell who the developer of a remake is or whatever. Anyway, the point is, Vicarious Vision was the people that developed this particular game, and this game came out on the PS4 on June of 2017, and then Switch, PC, and Xbox One at June 2018. So the following year, they got all those out. That's pretty impressive if you say that. If I say so.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, and I played this on the PC, and it was 35.89 gigabytes. Tom, what about you?
That is insane, Chris, because it was 18.9 gigabytes on the Series S, literally half the size.
Good Lord. What did they do? What magic did they do on the Series S?
Yeah, or perhaps on the PC it looks twice as good. I don't know.
I don't know about that. But let's talk about what kind of game this is.
Platformer.
You know what? I think I like that because I put third person 2.5D platformer, but the platforming varies in the planes that you're doing it. So
it does. Yeah. I discovered that for the first time playing this.
Yeah. And what are we doing in this game repeatedly? What is that game loop?
Spin and jump to make your way through levels, breaking crates on the way.
Yeah. I basically said the same thing. I said, get to the end of the stage while collecting all the boxes.
Are you collecting them, Chris, or are you just smashing them to pieces?
Or are you crashing them?
Oh, you do use your body to crash into them.
Yes. By spinning. But yes, you crash into them. Let's talk about what we like about this game, Tom. What'd you like?
It looked really, really good on the Series S. I really expected some kind of cheapo remaster. I don't, and no, it's like rebuilt from the ground up, and it looks great on the Series S, and it's not new. So
no. Yeah. What is this? At the time of this recording, at least a math for 6-year-old game at this point. So that's impressive. And I agree. The game looks great and sounds great. It's still got the nostalgia audio, which I thought was great that they were able to like throw that in there too. And I'm with you because I think during the intro you see Crash in his like original very low polygon character model, and then boom, he turns into what you see throughout the game. And and again, like we've talked about this though, because of the particular style of a game, if you can stick it, you keep it consistent throughout it, it'll age very well. And this game does, and it does a good job of that. The other thing I liked about this game was the fact that there are 3 games in it, Tom. Hence the trilogy.
Yeah, and you know what? Like you can pick any one of those from the starting home screen. You don't need to unlock anything. They're just all available from you from the get-go. And it's easy to navigate like through the levels and then get back to that main screen if you wanted to and start a different game. It's all well designed. Like as a package of games, I think it was really well designed.
Yeah, I agree. There was I'd say it's a lot of value. And also you can get like the levels themselves as you're playing the game are fairly short, so you can have very quick kind of in and out. I want to just make sure I burn through this particular level. You're in and out, I'd say in under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You can be.
If you do well.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
And the early levels, at least in that first Crash Bandicoot game, I think give you a lot of opportunities to get more lives.
Right.
So when you do hit a wall and you do struggle, you probably have enough lives to figure it out.
Right. So I actually had a question. Did you play all three or did you just stick to the first game?
So I played Crash 1 for the majority of the time.
Okay.
And then at a certain point, I went, okay, let me try one of the other ones. And I didn't try Crash 2. I just skipped right to Crash 3.
Oh, wow.
Figuring it would have the greatest change from the first one. And I found it was pretty different.
It is pretty drastic. I actually took the hour and I split it up into threes. So I did get 20, a little bit of time in between all of them. So 20 minutes into the first one, 20 minutes in the second one, and 20 minutes into the third. And yeah, it is I think it's kind of jarring too, because you don't get to see like the graphical upgrades because all of them look consistent. Yes. But to your point, there are game mechanics that change. Like, for example, I think in the second one was the one that they introduced crouch. And then in the third one, you have like a hub world, so to speak. Like the second one does have kind of that hub world mentality or mechanic there, but this like the hub world in the third one is a lot larger. I'll say it like that. Like Crash 2 felt more like one of the rooms in Mario 64, where just like there's paintings and portals, whereas Crash 3 felt like maybe multiple rooms in Mario 64, if that makes sense.
Yes. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
I like that in Crash 3 you had the ability to choose your level.
Yeah.
So like you had to pick from maybe 5 or something when you first start. But you can pick which ones of those you want to do. And I guess you get enough stars or whatever they give you so that you can unlock the next
It's
set.
the crystals. It's the crystals.
Crystals, okay.
Yeah. But yes, I agree. And like, I don't remember. It's been so long since I've even played Crash, way back in the PS1 era. And I mean, I still kind of remember the commercials, the ridiculous commercials they had with the guy wearing the Crash costume, like walking around doing some nonsense there. They really Sony really pushed this mascot for quite some time. Like, I think they were trying to be like the edgy, like they were trying to take Sonic to another level of edginess.
Absolutely.
And yeah, but the game has like very much like a Saturday morning cartoon vibe to it, I would say.
Yeah, it's goofy.
Yeah.
Like the idle animations are fun and silly. It's got a cheesy plot. All of them do.
It does.
And it is like that bright and colorful. It looks like it would sit right at home with a bunch of other things that were on Saturday mornings.
Right. Yeah. And I know we kind of touched on it on our game loop a little bit and what kind of game it is. You mentioned it's a platformer. I thought, and I think this is something new, especially for the PlayStation era. Like platformers were generally, like you said, we talked about, right, left to right. But this is going in and out of the plane of the camera, and the camera does a lot of work in this game, I have to say.
Yeah. No, it really does.
So it's pretty impressive.
The version I think that most people imagine of Crash Bandicoot is the kind of running into the screen.
Right.
And so I just kind of imagined or assumed that's what the game was.
That's the whole thing,
of the levels.
Yeah.
And then when it was like, oh no, this one's left to right, I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
there's some of these here too.
Yeah.
And then there was another one where you're like Indiana Jones style being chased by a boulder and you're running towards the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was bizarre. So I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. And I think it's introduced in the second one. There are certain times where even the camera pans up. I mean, it's almost like a top down mode too. So it's
very interesting.
I mean, it's for a very small section of the game or portions of a level where the camera pans up. But yeah, like they do a lot of different things in that. And, I guess it like to change things up a little bit, which I thought was kind of cool. It was kind of cool that they did that. And I think probably one of the first to do that at the time. So
there was a level in Crash 3 that I played where I was like on a jet ski. So like, I mean, plenty of variety here, especially across 3 different games. So.
Definitely. Anything else you wanted to bring up here, Tom?
No, I think we've caught everything between you and me. We've caught all of mine. Anything for you, or
no? I mean, again, like the nostalgia factor of this game definitely hit me with the '90s vibes, which was great. And I'd say even like the voice acting in it is pretty good. Overall, the crazy bad guy that you're dealing with. I'm totally blanking on his name, of course, but
Cortex.
Cortex. Thank you. Yes, because it's like I think the second one's about Cortex's revenge or whatever. That was all good, well and good. So that was fun to, like I said, like takes back to that Saturday morning vibe where you've got the zany villain that you have to deal with and stuff like that. So yeah, good on them. So now let's talk about those dislikes then, Tom. What did you like?
So the whole camera platforming thing, maybe I'm just too used to going from left to right. I don't know. But it makes it really hard to gauge a lot of these jumps.
Yeah.
And since you're jumping a lot, it becomes a problem. I also think that perhaps the jump isn't a Mario jump. It's, it feels different.
Yeah.
And so to me, doesn't feel right, which makes me constantly miss jumps. So like the combination of the way that you platform, running into the camera or running out of the camera, plus the fact that when I jump, it doesn't kind of respond the way I expect it to respond, means that I'm constantly falling into pits, which means I'm constantly having to replay segments over and over, and that's not fun.
Yeah.
So even with the surplus of lives I had generated, I was not enjoying falling into pits because I was missing jumps.
Yeah, I got to one. I think this was in Crash 3. There was a particular level that I was getting frustrated. No, actually, no. I think it was in Crash 2. Again, it was Crash 3. Where it was a prehistoric era level, and there was a Triceratops chasing me. And it's the same thing, like, the same mechanic of like the boulder or whatever the case, whatever it is that's chasing you. But then they added like lava pits and stuff like that. And like, you're like, sometimes, especially as you're coming towards the camera, it's a lot more challenging. And on top of the whole thing of it being a collectathon, because the first game also like essentially admonishes you like an Asian parent and about missing these boxes. Yes. So it was like, I was like, what the hell? Like, this is messed up. Like,
I didn't know that you needed to break the boxes for a while. Like I was like, I didn't get that's what when Crash is getting the boxes dumped on his head.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, oh, because I missed them. Like it took me a couple of levels to realize that, I'm supposed to break all the boxes.
Break them all. So yeah, it was frustrating, especially near the in the second and third game. It was more frustrating because I was making sure I was trying to get all the boxes. And then they'd be like, nope, you're missing 20 more. I'm like, where are these other 20 boxes? What are you talking about? This is so frustrating. So it was like, the forced replayability was kind of annoying, which we talked about with Neon White and Kunitsugami.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I wish, although to be fair, it does tell you the count. It does tell you the count right off the bat. So I'll give them like a half point deduction on that as opposed to a full point.
Right.
If you want to call it like that. So yeah, that was definitely a sticking point for me. What other things did you got there?
So I guess maybe because I'm used to, again, it's all the baggage from my other games that I play.
Yeah.
Like the fruit is close to Crash Bandicoot, but somehow not close enough for him to automatically pick it up.
Yeah.
Like it feels like I'm close enough that stuff should just come to me, like God of War orbs or something.
Yeah.
But they don't. Like you really got to get real close to them to pick them up.
That's true.
And since you're moving fast and trying to dodge all kinds of things, like it's a little aggravating because you're like have to like spin around or like move around in a circle to pick up a bunch of fruit before moving forward, and it messes up your momentum. I feel. Yeah,
I mean it's not like breakneck speed of like the old Sonics or anything like that. But I get what you're saying, especially as you're getting chased by something, you're trying to pick everything up while this thing is trying to flatten you. And I agree that was definitely frustrating. I actually didn't see the point in picking up the fruit now that I think about it, because like they only cared about you breaking the boxes. What did the fruit do for you?
If you collect enough, you get an extra life.
Oh, so it's like, okay, so it's like the
coins.
Okay.
They're gold coins.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, I had too many lives, but
well, that's another point. It's a good segue. Thank you, Chris. Nothing's really explained. Like a lot of the mechanics are not explained.
Sure.
And then like a lot of like the characters, it's just like, oh, she's a girl Bandicoot, and he's being tested on, and now you should care. And it's like I just didn't feel invested in any of the characters. Now, admittedly, we only played for an hour, and there are 3 games here.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like some level of something to get me caring about these characters would have been good.
It was, and it was weird because that female Bandicoot, I guess, that you see at the beginning of Crash, when you play Crash 2 and 3, you don't see her anymore. It's replaced by this other girl, which is essentially Crash's sister.
Yes.
Which the other thing that was really weird to me was I'm picking on a very old game. And the thing that you're talking about too, is like, yeah, there's no tooltips or anything like that. Should they have put that in the remaster if it wasn't in the original game? I don't know. Maybe they're expecting you to just know because this game has been around for so many years.
Like figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, Mega Man doesn't have tooltips either, right?
Right. So. Right, exactly. But I also only had like 2 buttons to use at the time. But like I don't know. It was just weird that Crash was the only one that didn't talk. He was a silent protagonist in this game.
Like Link.
Yeah. But something about that just bothers me. It's like people are talking at him all the time and he has no response. It's like, come on, do something, say something, anything. But he does do grunts and stuff like that, which is, again,
and he's got tons of idle animations and gestures and things. So
yeah, he's got personality for sure. So I mean, unless they're trying to say that he's like, he can't talk like for some reason.
I don't know.
So the other thing I wanted to point out was when I first booted up the game, there was like a weird screen sizing issue that happened. Now I do have 2 screens. I think it was trying to display the game across both of them or something, but it was just really annoying because I couldn't see the bottom of the screen to like confirm the resolution or whatnot. So it was just something to keep in mind if you're playing this on the PC. That did happen to me. I'm not sure if it'll happen to everyone else, but that was there. And I did. So the one thing I did want to call out about Crash 2. So the first one does like kind of put the stakes, so to speak. I know it's not very strong. It wasn't strong enough for you to be considered to feel invested, but the stakes were you are this Bandicoot that gets experimented on by this guy, Cortex. You escape during his testing of you, and that's kind of like where it goes. Yeah. So Cortex is essentially the bad guy.
Yep.
The weird thing is in Crash 2, you're helping him.
Oh.
Yeah. It was just weird that I was like, why we're talking about like motivations and stuff like that. Why would Crash want to help this guy? Like he just started to ruin him. And
maybe at the end of one they have a
I think, well, granted, okay, I'm giving this I'm not explaining Crash 2 properly enough, but there is like another bigger threat apparently that's gonna take over everything. But it's still like, all right, I could do this on my own. I don't need your help to do this or whatever, because clearly Crash is capable, and got a second game and I guess several more after that. But so. I don't know. Anything else you wanted to bring up here, Tom?
No. I talked about the mechanics feeling wonky. I think that was the biggest piece for me.
Okay.
And little nitpicks here and there. But
sure. All right. So we'll get to our other thoughts then. How Long to Beat says this game takes about 15 hours to complete. And I believe that is the entirety. So 1, 2, and 3. So very quick games to get through. I didn't feel like there were many levels, to be honest, in the games. So yeah. Seems like it'd be a quick, probably like over a weekend, you finish 3 games. How about that? And get some achievements if you're into that. It does have xCloud gaming, so you can, play this game on your Steam Deck or whatever remote device. So good on that. And the other cool thing that I noticed on the Xbox app on the PC, I'm not sure if it does on the Xbox itself, but it did show the time played for each game.
Oh, look at that.
So that's a nice little thing that they did. So good on them. Good on them for doing that.
Very cool.
Yeah. What cool tidbits you got, Tom?
Well, I can tell you that it's built on Vicarious Visions' Alchemy game engine. They used Naughty Dog's original level geometry to rebuild the games from scratch.
Oh, wow.
So this was a labor of love for these guys,
Very
for
cool.
sure. They had to create new art, new animations, new audio. They did new recording of the dialogue with the newer voice actors.
Okay.
The dialogue, that's why it sounds so good, is, from these newer installments of Crash where they had this new voice acting talent. They took those individuals and had them record the dialogue from the older game.
Very cool.
They also had a contest for fans to submit ideas for the idle animations, and they polled fans prior to release to make sure that they got everything feeling Crash Bandicoot-y.
Ooh.
So put the game early in front of fans, had them critique it, and they made adjustments, which I think is a really awesome thing to do from a development cycle. It reminds me of the early trailer for the live action Sonic the Hedgehog and how poorly it was received. And then they went ahead and they fixed that. So I like to see that. I like to see that, especially when your target audience is fans of something.
Right, definitely.
Right? Like, who did you make the N.Sane trilogy for but Crash Bandicoot fans, right?
Yeah, you want to get their feedback, and it gets the community feeling like they have a say, have a stake in the game, and they'll feel invested, and they want to play the game and purchase it. So, yeah. Well, Tom, we need to find out now. Is this game staying on our respective hard drives, or are we hitting that nitro button and letting it explode into a billion pieces?
Okay, so if you know me, you know that I love Naughty Dog, and these were originally made by Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
So you would think that perhaps I would be a big fan of these, but back in the day, I guess this creature, this marsupial, he never grabbed me, right? Now, at least I can say I've played it. At least I can say I understand why other people have such a fondness for him, but I have no drive to finish this game. I'm not invested in this Bandicoot. So
sure, okay, that's fair. So for me, Xbox, the one thing I feel like Xbox has been lacking for quite some time. Although we did play Super Lucky's Tale, but they need their own platformer.
Yes,
and this is one of those platformers that they have essentially acquired. Crash and Spyro and whatever else is out there in the abyss of Activision's IP. But and that just means there's possibly more to come. I mean, it'd be great if they could somehow get Sly Cooper on Xbox. That'd be amazing. But that's besides the point. But it is also short. It is short. The levels are short, and it can be frustrating. But I did feel like I was overall having a good time with this game. And there's 3 games in one. What's to knock on that? So 3 games to 1, I'm keeping it.
Excellent. I look forward to hearing if it makes coherent sense once you finish them all.
mean, it probably will not. It's a 90s game with a 90s plot, so most likely not.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us, say hello on Twitter or Threads at TC1H1D, or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe tell us your favorite Crash game that's not part of this N.Sane trilogy, because there were, like I said, there's quite a few more that they've made, and apparently Crash Team Racing is an underrated kart racing game. I don't know. Well, QTB is the network, and 1H1D is part of that network. And if you like any great gaming content, check it all out at quitthebuild.com/network. Now, Tom.
Yes, Chris.
Let's find out what we're playing next, shall we?
Yes, I would like to know.
Yes, here we go. Ooh, all right. Inculnati, I believe is how you say it.
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? We are going to find out why not on the next episode. But thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into this episode, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.